Today we're gonna dive into the wonderfully bizarre world of personality disorders. Buckle up because we're about to meet some fascinating characters who might remind you a little too much of your weird uncle or that one co-worker to avoid in the break room. Okay then, let's get started. Wait, a quick disclaimer by the way. This is not in any way meant to be an upfront confrontation upon any person or any individual that's facing any of these disorders. I'm not a medical professional and do not wish to come across as that, and if you know an individual who might be struggling with any of these conditions, it's best to seek proper medical help from a licensed practitioner. What are personality disorders? So, personality disorders are mental health conditions that make people act in ways that, let's say, these patterns can be pretty stable and can cause a lot of trouble in social work and personal life. There are three main clusters of these disorders, so let's break it down. They are namely, Cluster A, Cluster B and Cluster C. Okay, so let's cut into Cluster A. Let's just say the folks in this cluster are oddballs, to say the least. Think of them as those eccentric uncles of the family reunion. First of all, we have paranoid personality disorder. These are like individuals who think everyone is out to get them. Ever had a neighbor who thinks that you're trying to steal their prize in a collection? Yep, that's them. They are often cold, distant, and are unable to form close interpersonal relationships. They do not see their role in conflict situations and often project their feelings of paranoia as anger onto others. Next, we have the Schizoid Personality disorder. These folks would rather hang out with the pet rock than other people. Do they have a social life? Nope. Perfectly content with the company of their own selves. I'm sure that kind of sounds like most of us, but don't make conclusions yet. There are many reasons to prefer solitude. They are always absorbed in their own thinking and daydreaming, and because of this, they exclude themselves from attachment to people and reality. Believe it or not, Albert Einstein displayed these traits, for he was notoriously solitary and often seemed emotionally detached from others. Next, we have Schizotypal personality disorder. Imagine someone who dresses up like a wizard then believes in aliens. They're socially awkward and have odd beliefs. Like your Aunt Tina, who believes in all that fourth-dimensional stuff, and reptilian overlords. Think of them like the socially awkward outcasts or even the black sheep. They have similarities with the schizoid personality disorder, as they are often cold, distant, introverted, and have an intense fear of intimacy. They have disordered thinking perception and ineffective communication skills. Fun fact: people with schizotypal personality disorder have slight similarities to schizophrenia, but they aren't the same. So, how do you deal with them? A squad? Nope, just simple patience and understanding. They are not trying to be weird, their brains just work differently. For the next group, we have Cluster B. This cluster is marked by inappropriate, volatile emotionally, and often unpredictable behavior. Here we find antisocial personality disorder for starters. These are the rule breakers, the rebels without a cause. They don't care about your feelings or flaws. They are the charming villains in movies. They go on to cheat and Monopoly and feel no shame at all. They may be involved in aggressive acts, often targeting individuals without shame or guilt. Next, we have borderline personality disorder. These are folks who have roller coasters, like 1 minute you're with a friend and the next you're plotting your doom. It's a wild ride with them. They also have a tendency to think that relationships they have with an individual is closer than it actually is. Be careful with these people. They could wreck a serious hole in your life. Their sense of reality is in black and white. They feel like they lacked certain level of nurturing while growing up. They therefore look for caretaking from other people, often by use of manipulation, which leave them empty and angry, and it eventually leads them to desperate and impulsive behaviors. Next up, we have Histrionic personality disorder. Don't worry, you don't need to cram the name, it's up there on the screen. Drama, drama, drama. These are the type of people to make themselves the center of attention for absolutely no reason. Just the kind of people who just wake up in the middle of the room and just scream their lungs out just to make sure that they are the apex of everyone's attention. So next time you meet the drama queen at the office, just tell them you might have his histrionic personality disorder. I'm kidding though, don't do that, you may also attract some attention. Their emotional expressions are often judged as superficial and exaggerated. Next up we have Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Ever met someone who thinks like they're God's gift to the world? Yep, that's them. They need admiration, like we need to breathe. They kind of have the empathy of a bird. They are overly sensitive to criticism, judgment, and defeat. Weird story actually how this personality disorder got its name. The first narcissistic individual actually comes from ancient mythology, in the myth of Narcissus. Narcissus thought himself to be so handsome and he charmed plenty of the nymphs, women, and gods sometimes, but he never ever wanted more attention. So, this is the story, he was cursed by the gods to love his own reflection. And, mistakenly, one day, when he was admiring his own reflection in a pool of water, he accidentally got drowned by nymphs and died since they said, if we can't have you, you still can't have you. It's kind of funny that way. Anyway, long story short, that's where the flower Narcissus comes from, and the name of this personality disorder. Donald Trump is a frequently cited narcissist. His grandiosity, need for admiration, and often exaggerated sense of self-importance are hallmark traits of NPD. Remember, while the traits of this cluster seem dramatic and erratic, they're part of complex mental health conditions that require understanding and proper treatment. Okay, next up, we have Cluster C. These are folks who have anxious and fearful behavior. They are worrywarts of the psychological world. In this cluster we start off with Avoidant Personality Disorder. These individuals avoid social situations like the plague, kind of like my friend, because they're afraid of rejection, have social anxiety, and are generally weird. They are panicky creeps who do not talk simply because of fear rather than introversion. Next up, we have Dependent Personality Disorder. Actually, it is kind of common, mostly in the fictional world of TV shows. You can see these kinds of characters once in a while, and they cling on to others like they're barnacles on the boat's underside. Never get elusive. They're clingy type of people who might probably end up killing you if you do not hold their overrule. These people often lack self-confidence and security, and have a hard time making decisions. Next up, we have Obsessive-compulsive Personality Disorder. This is OCPD. Not to be confused with Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, which is more of intrusive thoughts and compulsions. These people are imperfectionists to the point of dysfunction. These are individuals who would rather spend a half an hour trying to arrange their own desk, just to make it look, slightly better. These folks are driven by orderliness and control at the price of inflexibility and efficiency. They often become uncomfortable in situations that are beyond their control. A classic example is Steve Jobs, who portrayed many of these traits. His intense focus on perfection and control over Apple's products and operations were classic signs of OCPD. So, how do you deal with someone in the Cluster C crew? Patience and understanding are crucial. These folks are not trying to be difficult, their anxiety and fear shape their behaviors. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more intriguing content, and let me know in the comments if you've encountered any of these quirky personalities. See you next time.